Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to Season 3, Week 10 of the DC Sports Digest. Hope you guys have been having a good holiday season. And as usual, there's a lot to talk about in DC Sports. So without further ado, let's just get started. On to the Nats, one sign they made, signed first baseman Matt Mervis. Don't know too much about him, but I think he's a chance to be a rotational guy at first base. So hopefully he makes a good impact. On the Wizards actually had a pretty good week this week. They beat the Grizzlies and Raptors, lost to the Spurs and the Hornets to bring them to a 6-23 record. CJ and Keyshawn scored 28. They had a comeback win versus the Grizzlies, came back from all the way down from 20, which is amazing. Tristan Bub and Trey Johnson had solid games in a hard-fought loss to the Spurs. I was there. They actually played pretty well, kept it close against a really good team. Spurs just beat the Thunder twice, so obviously pretty impressive to be in that game for a long time. We got it to within 9 in the fourth quarter, but unfortunately could not win that game. Unfortunately, Cam Whitmore has a blood clot, like deep vein thrombosis, similar to what Wemby had last year, I think. So hoping he has a speedy recovery. He'll be out indefinitely. Pretty unfortunate, but hopefully he'll be back better than ever. And then last night, the Wizards looked really good. Keyshawn George at 23. Bilal Coulibaly had his best game of the year. CJ McCollum also at 21. Huge win versus the Raptors, beat them by 20 plus. Just a really strong, dominant performance for the Wizards. And hopefully a sign of things to come in the next couple years. Trying to stay positive, even with the 6-23 record. And coming up this week, we have games versus the Grizzlies, Suns, Bucks, and Nets. So a couple more winnable games, hopefully. And hopefully they can continue their momentum from this week. That's all for the Wizards. On to the Caps, not too much to report. They lost the Red Wings twice, one overtime loss, and they lost the Rangers. Really bad week for them. Also, they had a couple games early this week, so they haven't played since Tuesday, which is also just really bad scheduling. Ryan Leonard did return, luckily, which is good to see him back, but still lost the Rangers pretty bad. Can't solve all our problems. I think this front office needs to be looking at a trade or something at this point. Because otherwise we're not going to do anything until we get some more prospects here, and we'll kind of be stuck for a couple of years until those prospects finally come up to the majors. Coming this week, we have games versus the Devils, Panthers, Rangers, and Senators. Pretty crucial games if we want to stay in the fight this season. We are fourth in the Metro, so we need to keep the momentum going and get back in the fight for the playoffs. That's all for the Caps. On to the Commanders, a lot to recap, but unfortunately they lost the Eagles and Cowboys, bringing them to a 4-12 record. We stayed competitive with the Eagles, but unfortunately Marcus Mariota got hurt. So we had to move on to our third-string quarterback, Josh Johnson. We did have a strong start. We forced a fumble in the opening kickoff and recovered it, so that was great to see. But a lot more injuries. Mariota was hurt. The ones that didn't play against the Cowboys are Mariota, Jalen Lane, Sam Cosmi, Eddie Goldman. I don't think any of them played. So we had a really banged up O-line. Also, Laramie Tunsil didn't play against Dallas. So yeah, really banged up O-line. Brandon Coleman had to fill in. I think he got hurt a couple times also. So we signed Jeff Driscoll to the practice squad. We claimed a D-tackle, Shai Tuttle. I don't think he played too much, but he had to be inserted in against Cowboys. Also want to congratulate Tress Way for making his third Pro Bowl. Really just a Washington legend. Still having great seasons. I think it's his 11th season. So hopefully we're going to have him for a couple more years. And then going on to the Dallas game, we were down 21-3. I thought really the game was over, but we kept it super competitive. We had actually a chance to win that game, but we couldn't get back ahead, and we lost to Dallas. But wanted to shout out Bill for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns. He ripped off like a 70-yard touchdown, so that was probably most of his carries, but that was still really impressive to see. It was finally good. He's really a home run running back, and he finally hit the home run this season, which was amazing. Hopefully he can do more of that, and also he just needs to work on those intermediate plays and has to know that you can't get a home run every single play, but it was nice to know he can hit those, and he did get a home run, like I said, this year with the baseball analogy. And Johnny Newton also had 3 sacks out of nowhere. We knew he could be a pass rusher like this from the D-tackle position, but it's great to finally see it. Hopefully he'll continue to play more. Also, shout out Ricky Barber, undrafted guy, got a sack. I just want to see more of these young guys. There's really no point in playing these old players. Like, they don't have much to prove. I don't want to be mean to these guys, but like Chris Moore or, I don't know, the Shai Tuttle that we claimed. off waivers, because like these are older guys. Like they're not gonna do much for us next year and in the future. But we want to see more of guys like Johnny Newton, like Bill, like Traylon Burks, like Jordan McGee. Just see what we have for the future. And I think we do have a lot of guys that could help us in the future. So that's really the point of these games. Also, the point of these games, not for the players but for the team, is for the draft watch. And we currently hold the 7th pick. I think we can get a little bit higher, potentially as high as the 3rd pick. But we'll see what happens. I think if we don't lose, we're at least guaranteed the 7th pick, which is really good. And we'll have a lot of options there. So I will definitely keep an eye out for that. And coming up, our next game is next Sunday. So I won't really have too much to mention, but I will let you guys know how our draft status is looking after this week's games. So that's all I have for the Commanders. Not much other DC sports news. DC Power tied Carolina. They are on a break until February. On my weekly awards, I'm giving the game of the week to the Wizards for beating the Raptors 138-117. Like I said, really dominant win and gave us a glimpse of what our future could look like. My players of the week are Bill for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns and getting that home run like I mentioned, and Johnny Newton for popping off with 3 sacks. He said, there's a quote from him that said, once I get hot, you can't cool me down. He definitely did not cool down in that game. My team of the week is the Wizards for a 2-2 record. Great to see them finally on here. Obviously, 2-2 isn't the best, but they definitely have the best record on here and play with the most fight out of any team probably so far this week. That's all I have for this video. Like I said, my game log for Wizards versus Spurs is out now. Pretty entertaining game, but I think you guys will enjoy the video. And also make sure to check out the Instagram, which has a post with a couple more pictures from the game. And that's all I have for this video. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.